Welcome back to the show. Joining us on the show today is Nigeria's Sam Sodje, a former Super Eagles a superstar, a central defender, and also play from the wings as well. And he's going to join us on the show today to talk about football and some other issues concerning Nigerian football and the World Cup. And don't forget the African, what's it called, Nations Cup that is coming up in Cote d'Ivoire. That is around the corner. And don't forget, some couple of weeks ago, we heard about the appointment of a new coach for the Super Eagles. And this is one man that's very much involved in the football politics of Delta State as well as that of Nigeria. And he's joining us on the show today. Sam, how are you doing, Sam?
I'm fine. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome to the show, Sam. So where are we starting from? Should we start from where everything started from, talking about your football career in Margate, or should we just jump the gun and probably go to West Bromwich Albion or probably go to Brentford? In Brentford, you actually got the award of the Footballer of the Year for Brentford. That was a 2004-2005 season. I don't know if I'm correct.
Yeah,
How,
you're
how
making
was
me
the
look old.
how was the feeling then? How was the feeling then, Sam?
No, no, it's always good when you come back from Nigeria. You deep into the English system. I started from a non-league team, so it's different from me. I didn't go into youth football. I started from a non-league, a Margate, went to Stevenage, then went on to play for Brentford. So it's always good to have that achievement that you can be one of the best players in the league.
Yeah, it's nice now that for a man like you that's got so much experience playing in the Premiership and in the Championship, you're back in Nigeria right now and trying to, support the Delta State government in their endeavors to, to make Nigerian football better. How has it been? Let's talk about your new appointment in Delta State. What are you really
No,
into with the Delta State
yeah,
government?
it's different because I was born in London. I was born in London, but I went back to Nigeria when I was 4 years old. So I grew up in Nigeria. I came back when I was 19, 20. So in a way, I know how it is in Nigeria. So coming to England was just to play football. And I always knew I was going to go back to give back to Africa and Nigeria when I finished. So yeah, I'm now a technical head of technical and development and youth development in the DFA. It's called the DFA, the Delta State Football Association in Nigeria, and I'm doing my best to be able to change things from the boardroom. Not every ex-player wants to be a coach or a agent or there's some of us that have gone and educated ourselves to be administrators of the game.
Yeah, being an administrator of the game, I know you have a role with the Super Eagles. Let's talk about that role. What's
Yeah,
your role with the Super?
yeah. I think it was a couple of years ago. I think it was last year. I was appointed, member of the study group of the national team. But don't ask me how it's going because the office is not working. So it's just a name. But yeah, I'm involved with the study group of the national team.
Some couple of days ago, okay, ongoing right now, the under 17 championship, talking about the WAFU B under 17 championship, is going on in Ghana, and we've seen the performance of that team, put together by Unduka Ubadi. What is your take on that team? What do you think can still be done in the area of youth development in Nigerian football?
A lot, a lot. But I'm so proud of the team, and the main thing I'm proud of now is we've really gone into the really young players. We're picking really under 17s that are going to play. Them days are gone where you pick some 20-year-old kid because he looks young and play. But now these young kids are really young, so we're proud of what he's doing, and they've made us proud. So hopefully they can go all the way and play in the Waffle Cup, win it, because this is where starts from.
Let's talk about the Super Eagles. Unfortunately, they were not able to make it to the World Cup. What's the feeling like? And going forward, you have a new coach right now, a Portuguese.
Yeah.
What is your take on the makeup of that team? I'm sure you've seen one or two of their games. What's your take on the general makeup of the team?
No, I was very involved. I've seen lots of the games. I've seen them train. They came to Asaba, so I know more about the team, and it's really it hurts when you see that you're not going to the World Cup. I can put my neck out now to tell you that we're going through a phase where we've got the golden generation. You might doubt it when it comes to the players, but we've not got the management crew to match the players. It's so hard to get these players playing for big clubs, playing for at one time. There was times where you get one or two free players, but at the moment we got more than four or five or six of them, more than 10 or 20 of them playing for big clubs. So I would say we're going through a generation of the golden generation, but we've not been able to match it with the technical crew. And we didn't go to the World Cup not because we didn't have the players, but because we didn't prepare properly and because we didn't have the technical crew to take us through. And it does hurt. It does hurt.
But Sam, if you look at the makeup of that team, do you really think, in your own, be sincere with me right now, Sam? Do you think we really have world class players in the mold of a Sadio Mane or a Mohamed Salah that can switch the makeup of a game in a second? Do you think we have the makeup of that kind of those kind of players? Do you think
Yeah,
so?
yeah. I will explain to you from my background. 'Cause I've played the game for a long time. So when you say World Cup players, they become World Cup players when they get to the stage of playing the Premier League or playing the top level football, which they are now. Then when they go to the World Cup and play well, then you call them world stars players. But what killed us is we forgot that we got home based players. When you're playing Africa, I was born in Nigeria. I came to England. It was different for me going back to Africa to play because the game is different, the pitches are different, the weather is different. So the mistake we made, we didn't blend the team with home-based players to get us through to the World Cup. If we are going to the World Cup, I'm telling you now, the same players we have now, they will be World Cup players. They will world-class players. But they can't do that in Africa. It's always hard because the weather, it affected us so bad. And this is the thing that hurts me because the NFF should know this. I can tell you for free that when I went back to Nigeria or Africa playing for the national team, it was hard because the weather is different now. And that was why we didn't go through. And that's why the main reason we didn't go through. The players that we played are workout players, but the game that they played was not right for them. If we had the blend of home-based players and foreign-based players, blend them together, we would have qualified.
No. You as a member of a Delta State, developmental team. Let's look at club football in Nigeria and the performance of Nigerian teams at the continental level. Are you impressed? What can be done
Uh,
if you're not
No, no,
impressed?
not at all. You have to give these players like myself. I told you before. I played in Nigeria myself 2 years before I came to the UK. The standard of being a professional player and the home-based players is so wide, so wide. But I blame the infrastructure in Nigeria. We're not given the best platform to play to be able to measure up with the superstars of the Europe. But I'm trying my best. It doesn't happen overnight. We're trying to put things together in the Nigerian league to be able to get to that level. When it comes to the club performance, no, because they're not. The league is not where we want it to be. And we're not going players now to go to Europe. We're going players, youth players, to play for the Warri Wolves, the Kano Pillars, the local teams, and we're getting there. Hopefully, we can get the local league as strong as it used to be, so we can compete for big competitions.
Do you feel the Super Eagles have what it takes to qualify for the Nations Cup in Cote d'Ivoire? Talking about the 2023 Nations Cup. Now the
It's
qualifiers is in.
embarrassing that you're asking that. It's embarrassing. It's very embarrassing to
Yeah,
me.
because we have to ask that
And I
question
know.
because for me the performance of the team of late has
Yeah.
not been convincing.
No,
So
no. But I've told you.
I'm just condemned to ask that question,
I
Sam.
am. No, I understand you. When I mean it's embarrassing, it's not your fault. It's our fault because we've given you the chance to ask such questions. So it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because I've told you the main problem. We need the home-based players to come into the team to qualify us sometimes because the pitches are different. The weather is different. You can't say we don't have world-class players playing in Europe. Esime, Ndidi. These are top players. But when they come to Africa, it's different. You need coaching. The mentality has to be right, and these are things that we have to put together to be able to let someone ask those questions because it hurts. It hurts when you ask the questions.
No. Let's if you go back in time, if you look at the number of years it took West Half to harness that team together from 1989 when they were not able to qualify for the World Cup, talking about Italia 90, and to 1994 when they won the Nations Cup in Tunisia. That was like 5 years or thereabout. Now we got a Garnet Roar that used almost the same number of years. But yet, he couldn't take that because I saw the Super Eagles on the number of occasions. This is a team that
Yeah,
they can't string the ball together 10 times
yeah,
without the opponent
yeah,
intercepting the ball. That is not the
yeah.
makeup of a world class team. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. No, I agree with you. And these are not individual mistakes. They're not being coached. They're not being coached. I will tell you for free because I came to this country a good player, but when I came to England, I was being coached, and my game just went to the next level. When you come to the national team should have a system that they play. So it doesn't matter who the player is. He comes in and he fits into the system. The national team don't have a system when Gareth Rolfe was there. So we have individual players as good as Van Dijk. If you leave him, he's not as good. He's been coached how to defend as a team, and because he's got good defenders around him, because he's got a good team, that was make that Van Dijk a top player. We need to understand this in Africa. We have a big problem with concentration in the back. We've got big problems. So when you bring these foreign coaches, they have to understand that we need to get coached. Don't just throw in Sam Sodje because he played for Reading or because he played for West Brom. When I come, I need you to coach me. I need to tell me what to do, and that's the mistake we're making in the national team.
Now, I'm going to throw this question to you, Femi. Now, talking about a foreign coach. Now, if you look at the past performance of Nigerians with foreign coaches, now, where will you suggest, if you were to choose, for instance, where will you suggest that the coach should come from in terms of the nationality of the coach that Nigerian Football Federation would like to employ? Already, they have a Portuguese coach. But in your own opinion, where do you think is really suitable with the kind of football we play in Nigeria? That's my question. What's your take on that, Femi?
I think, like Sam just said, we must have a system first, right? The kind of system we want to play, before we can now look around and say, okay, what kind of coach will fit into this system, or what kind of coach can lay out this system? Then we'll go. Whether it's a German coach or a Dutch coach, we must have a system in mind. Like our players will come in and fit into it. I bought into what Sam said there. It's a very good point. Nigerian Super Eagles, the national team, have not got any system at all. So they just bring in players and they want them to perform like they performed in Europe. It's not easy. The weather is number one factor that will affect them. Maybe they comes in for 3-4 days and they want to play a qualifier game. They need to acclimatize. There are home-based players here that you could have at least substitute them with or play them. They're used to the weather and they can as well play football if you have a system. Bring 2 home base into the system or 3, they will function properly. And that's our problem, and that's why I qualify.
I feel even if you want to have a system, you must have some bit of consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with me on that, Sam? Gentlemen,
yes,
you must have consistency. It takes consistency for you to build a system. You must be consistent.
No, but what am I just saying just now is spot on. As a country, how do we want to play? We should be worried. We shouldn't be worried about the coach. We should be worried about who's signing the coach. What technical side have sat down together and say, this is the coach that is good for us? Who are those
Mm-hmm.
people signing the coach? That's who Nigeria should be worried about. Because as a national team, I've played in some of the top teams in the UK, top managers. You leave from, say, for example, you go from Leeds United to West Brom. You kind of have an idea of how the coach in West Brom plays. So if you don't fit into that system, he won't buy you. He will not buy you. So it doesn't
Thank
matter.
you.
I think in the early 90s, when the France team was doing so well, Harry Cantona was one of the best players in the world, but he couldn't fit into the national team system and he didn't play. So this is not about. I'm saying this for. I'm not being nasty. I'm saying it from experience. That the national team, we've got a coach now. We can't judge him now because it's too early. But at the same time, as a country, as an NFF, we need the right bodies to be in there to be able to give the chance to judge coaches and judge how we play football.
Now, Sam, Sadio Mane just made a move from Liverpool, from Anfield to Bayern Munich. Do you think that's a good move? We have history of players who have left Liverpool at the height of their career, and when they make that move away from the Anfield, their games tend to pummel downward. Now, do you think Sadio Mane has made a very good move for his career with this move going to Bayern?
It's different from players and from fans or press. It's different. When players make decisions, they've got a reason to do that. If I had my chance, I would have left England probably 3 years before I finished because England football really messed my knee up. So so sometimes there are things that you think about before you move. But definitely, when you've been in a club for like 6 years, I think it was there for 6 years. That's a long time. You probably need a new challenge, and you just never know what goes in the dressing room. So it's different for fans. Fans might see it differently, but players see things differently. So I will not be able to tell you the reason he is left, but it's definitely a better choice for him, and that's why he gone.
Now, and if I mean Darwin Nunes, Liverpool have brought in Darwin Nunes from Benfica, How do you see that guy, his performance in the last Champions League, in the Portuguese league as well? Do you think it's going to fit in into that Liverpool style of play?
Uh, if they don't think he's going to fit in, I don't think Klopp will go for him. He might want to play another style at the front, but I'm not too sure. But he's a very, very good player. He scored a lot of goals last season. You know, I didn't see a lot of him apart from in the Champions League, especially against Liverpool. And he was dangerous. He could have scored more than two, you know. But I think he's a very good player. But if you're replacing him with Sadio Mane, we never can tell. Let's see what's going to happen, you know. Sadio Mane has been good for Liverpool and he scored a lot of winners in some big games for Liverpool, if you look at it. But I'm not too sure. Personally, I'm just thinking maybe between him and Salah, they have to choose one of them and give him a new contract, you know. But he's going for a pay rise here, 250K a week. That's what I read. Compared to 190K a week at Liverpool, I would have made the same move, my brother.
Now, Sam, do you think Liverpool will miss him, Sam? Do you think they
Oh,
will miss Sadio
oh,
Mane?
100%, 100%. As a defender, you don't look like a Sonny.
No.
He runs, he works hard, he wants to win. You can see how hungry he is every week. And go back to the games. For the 6 years, he has always had an impact in big games. So they would miss him a lot. But hey, football moves on. Liverpool is going to be there 20 years from now. So yeah, back to your last question about the new player coming in. I'm sure they'll play to a system. They'll play a system where he fits in. But yeah,
Yeah.
talking about money, he'll be highly missed, not just from Liverpool, but from England, from the Premier League. He'll be missed.
Will be missed. And then let's look at a team like Arsenal. They've been a bit busy of late in the transfer window. And then they've brought in a Fabio Vieira from Porto for £30 million. Now they are spending the money. Yeah, Fabio, an attacking midfielder. What's your take on this, Sam?
Oh yeah,
Is
it's
it
funny
good
because
or
you
not?
said that. It's funny because you said that they're spending the money. It's 30 million,
Now they're
30 million
spending
to
the
like.
money.
They need to cash up. They really need to cash up. But I'm happy they're buying players. I like Arsenal. They've started really well, but still they need to cash up, and they're far away from the level where Man City and Liverpool is. But yeah, they've got some exciting players, and with the right information to these players, right system, I'm sure they'll be up there as well next season.
Well, and if I mean, I know you're an ardent Arsenal fan. Do you think your team is doing enough in this current transfer season? Are they
Uh,
doing enough now, in your own opinion, from what you saw last season and from what other teams in the top flight are also doing? Do you think Arsenal are doing enough?
No, from the player that's been linked to them, right? If they could get maybe two or three of them, then maybe top six. I would say top six, you know, because it's going to be a very, very tough league this time around. But talking about this Vieira, right? I've read report about him that he's a very exciting player. He won the young player at the last UEFA Championship. So it might be a player for future, but let's say if you can come into the team and make a difference, you know, he's going to play in the midfield. But at the same time, they're linking them with Rafinha. If he comes, he's going to be a good player. Gabriel Jesus, if he comes, he's going to be a good player. So maybe top five, you know, for next season.
Initially, you said top six. Now you've spun it down to top five. Now you guys
Yeah.
lost Aubameyang. You lost Aubameyang, and I learned that Lacazette is also leaving. Now I've not seen a replacement for these guys, because you're talking about what's it called? Vieira is a midfielder. He's not a striker.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
Rafinha, Arsenal still needs to drop the money, Sam. Or what do you think? Because
oh
at
yeah, oh
least I'm
yeah.
not going to let it go easily like that.
Oh no, they have to cash up. It's something they have to do. I'm surprised, for an Arsenal fan or for Arsenal as a football club talking about top six. You have to thinking about what's going on here. That's how strong the Premier League is. For you to be happy to be top six, a club like Arsenal,
Mhm.
is not nice. But they have to really put their hands in their pocket and spend the money and just cash up, because if you don't spend the money, it'll be very hard. And now Newcastle is come to the frame, so top six will be very hard to be in.
It will be very hard to beat.
Newcastle will be up there.
Now, talking about catching up, how do you catch up with a team like Man City? If you look at the budget and look at the expenditure, of Pep Guardiola since he got to onto that seat as the top man in Man City.
Yeah.
Look at how much they've expended into players transfer. How can a team catch up with that kind of a club side? Do you think
Apart
it's
from
possible?
spending the money, there's a lot of time spent in the training ground as well. Buying the right
No doubt.
players. Having the
Mhm.
money doesn't guarantee you success. I think a
Yeah.
lot of times is spent in the training ground, the philosophy, his attitude, the kind of players he buys. There's a lot of things that makes you successful. So cashing up goes a long way. It takes money, it takes the coach, it takes the mentality of the football club, attitude-wise, ambitions. So it's a lot to catch up with, and I think Man City is up there, Liverpool as well. So next thing will be explosive. It makes the Premier League very exciting. So we're all happy that it's happening that way.
Now, a team that also needs to catch up is Manchester United. They've brought in a coach from Ajax, talking about Eric Ten Hag. Now, they want to get that young man from Barcelona. That's De Jong.
Yeah.
Barcelona wants 86 million euros. Is that a proper valuation of De Jong? Any Femi? What's your take on that?
You can say what a proper
Do you think
valuation.
he's been overpriced or what? Don't
No,
you
you
think he's
can
been
say what.
overpriced?
No, you can say what a proper valuation of a player is. It depends on what the club want to do with the player. You know what I mean? If they're ready to sell him, they could give him to you for 20 million euro. If they want him out of, but if they don't want to sell him, they could splash a price on it that will make you run away. But if you if you're talking about the Premier League, right? Manchester United bringing in a new manager doesn't guarantee them success. Arsenal spending £250 million doesn't guarantee them success. What will guarantee you success is the quality of your manager, right? No matter the players you have. If you look at the top four managers in the world today, they are in the Premier League. Yeah?
But they
Guardiola,
didn't win the Champions League.
hold on, Guardiola,
They didn't win
Klopp,
the Champions League. So how do you rate
Klopp.
them? How do you judge that?
No,
They're
no,
supposed to be Champions League winners. If they are
yeah,
Sam, I don't know if you agree with me on my
No,
thought
no,
of.
no. I think I'll go. I think the best coaches are in England. Yes, they didn't win the Champions League because you have a master class of Real Madrid manager. Yeah, which is okay, but we have to accept it. 3-4 clubs in the Champions League last year. English club they did really well. So
No,
average wise,
no,
we have to say the best players and the best managers are in England at the moment.
yeah.
no doubt, no doubt. Now, gentlemen, looking at Barcelona, they need money. So 86 million euros will go a long way in probably easing some of their sorrows. Or what do you think, Sam?
Yeah, definitely. They need money. They need to buy the right players as well. As much as they need the money, they need to stay in the league, winning trophies, be in the Champions League. But definitely they've gone through some hard patch, haven't they? They've gone through hard patch in the last couple of years, so they need the money to come in. But when you talk about players, you're only as good as your last. Performance. These players will go for the big money because he had the last good season. So you can't blame the players. You can't blame them for the price tag. He might come England and he turns £2 player next week. But at the moment, the amount of money they're paying for him is definitely worth it. As an ex-player, I will never talk about any player's money because they've worked hard to be able to have that kind of price tag.
Now, Anifemi, Romelu Lukaku back to Inter Milan. How can you evaluate his performance with Chelsea? And do you think it's going to be business as usual when he get back to what's it called, to Milan?
Well, I would say he had a very poor season at Chelsea last season. Depending on, I wouldn't know what went wrong there, but something must have went wrong. He didn't perform the way they expect him to perform. Maybe he wasn't motivated enough. But he's come back to Milan now. But Milan has said to him, "You're not going to be welcome back home as a super king now. You're going to be like every other player and try and you know settle with the fans. The fans are forgiving him for going to Chelsea in the first place, but he's going back there on loan, right? And it's going to cost them a lot of money. I think it's about 20 million euro a year or something. So Let him go. Let's see if he's going to be able to perform like he did when he was there. Milan lost the league with just 2 points. They might be thinking, oh, maybe if we had him, we could have scored an extra 1 or 2 goals that would give us 3 points somewhere. You never know, but let's see. He's coming in again. So,
Talking about Liverpool, Liverpool, don't forget that recently they just allowed Takumi Minamino to depart for Monaco for 18 million euros. That's 15.5 million pounds. If you look at the performance of that young man last season, especially in the FA Cup and in the League Cup, what's your take on that transfer, Sam?
No, no,
How do you
he's a good player, very good player. I think he paid the price for playing in a very good team, a very top team. I bet you he was if he was playing for any other team, he would have been first team choice and playing every week. So he's a very good player. It shows you when he went to Southampton how good he was. Then the last couple of games, I think he dragged them all the way to nearly winning the league, and that's how good he is. So you can't take the fact away that he's a very good player. It's just the fact that he's playing for Liverpool, which is a great team at the moment, and that's why he's not getting the chance that he wants. But now he's moved on to Monaco. I'm not sure of why Monaco, but listen, he has to go and play games as player. He has to play, and I think they're the best choice for him. So yeah, with more games under his belt, I'm sure his performance will rise again, and the World Cup year as well.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed about players now. This year is a World Cup year. A lot of players are moving clubs. They need to think. I need to go to a team where I can
Play,
be a starter. You can't afford to
yeah,
go to a team and go warm the bench in the World Cup here because that might
exactly,
mess up your chances of going to the World Cup. Now, still talking
exactly.
about Liverpool, they've also brought in a Fabio Carvalho from Fulham. Do you have anything on that player? Fabio Carvalho, a fantastic young star. You know, I, how do you see Liverpool next season? Even though Manchester City have also got Haaland, that top striker, that goal poacher.
Yeah,
How do you see Liverpool?
to me.
Sam, how do you see
Yeah,
Liverpool?
explosive. I've seen the young kid play for Fulham last season, a couple of seasons now. Explosive kind of player, both feet. He can score goals. He runs from behind, and he arrives the box really late. He had a good partnership with the striker that one of the best striker in the league with many goals. So going to Liverpool will be a great step up for him. And I think because he's young, fearless, will fit in. He might not get a chance to play so many games because of the players they have, but it's a great move. It's a very good move. When you come to Ireland that went to Man City, listen, we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to how he will perform. From the way he plays, he's a typical Premier League kind of player. So let's see. And I'm so happy as well that him being in the team will definitely change the way Man City plays. There's no way they will play that kind of football that they play because they need to put the ball in the box for him to score. So it's going to be an exciting league to see the change of Man City system and seeing this young kid play for Liverpool, explosive player. So I'm proud to see them play.
Now, talking about putting the ball into the box, which means it's going to be a bit difficult for Barcelona to prize Bernardo Silva away from Man City because when you talk about players putting ball into the box, we know they have a certain Kevin De Bruyne, and they have a Bernardo Silva, and don't forget they still have that Algerian Mahrez.
Yeah, yeah. I think Bernardo Silva has been one of the best players in Man City. I think he doesn't get the praise that he needs, but he's been incredible. The way he strives with the ball and he picks it pass easily. They got some good players, and it looks like some of them will be leaving. Ramstead will be leaving. I'm sure. Jesus will be leaving. So they will lose some players. So I'm sure they will not want to lose Bernardo Silva because he's a top player. And when you have someone like Ella coming in as a striker, he really needs the balls in the box early doors. So I'm seeing the system change a lot because they will need to score more goals. But hey, listen, they scored a lot of goals last season. What more do
Mhm.
you want? So next season will be very competitive.
Next season will be very competitive. Before we go on the show, I will not allow you leave today without talking about the World Cup. We saw the teams that have qualified to represent Africa. All the teams have finally been, the list has been completed. How do you fancy the chances of African teams and some parts of the Caribbean as well? Puerto Rico and Costa Rica. Costa Rica,
Coaching.
to be
Hey,
precise. Yeah, talking about you, sir.
I mean. Yeah, I'm a really, really advocate of coaching. You need to coach players. I'm a defender. I'm a African defender playing in Europe. Coaching the thing killing African players or African teams in the World Cup is they lose concentration at the important times, and that's been our biggest problem. We're strong, we're quick. We have the skills, but that concentration in the big top level is what is killing us, and including myself. But if we can get the coaching right and the mentality right, we'll go far. It's going to be hard this year because I don't see any outstanding African team. But let's hope, because World Cup sometime the lower team just explode and have a good run. Let's see African teams, but hey, it's gutted. I'm so gutted that Super Eagles is not there, because when it comes to the World Cup, the pitches, the atmosphere, we would have done well. We would have done well.
Now, Femi, Senegal, the top ranked African team. How do you fancy their chances going to the World Cup?
Like Sam just said, I don't think they are that outstanding, you know. But they could do. Maybe they will get out of the group stage. If they get out of this group stage, it could be luck, maybe second round or something. But I don't see any African team going beyond the second round or getting to the quarterfinal.